There may be explicit language in today's episode. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Tailgate Talks, episode 123. This episode is sponsored by Official Recycling and Junk Removal. We'll have more on them later. Mike, we're a little thin today. It's just me and you. So, how's it going? What'd you do last Thursday? What'd you try to do to those people? Why'd you rob them? What's going on? You look a little sore.
How dare you? How dare you mention that on this show? Something that I helped build. I don't want to talk about Thursday. Bryce, I have lost 50% of my vlog. I have lost so much money, and I lost my car. Why would I want to talk about it? I barely had enough money to get gel to do my hair today. And guess what? Part of that help was from my own dad. That's how much I've lost. So I don't want to talk about it. It's gonna
Are you sure you don't want to talk about it?
It's gonna just be a little weird next Thursday, this Thursday, when I see Johnny Demise and Behemoth and Chuck the Doorman, but I don't want to talk about it. I'm here to talk about sports, and yeah. So yeah.
Would you like to talk about Edinburgh first?
Not really, I don't. And it's not because of the team, it's because of I'm gonna do something that I never do when I discuss Edinburgh sports. I'm going to call for a job. Not on Edinburgh. Not on Fairmount State. But the PSAC officials that were in charge of that football game. Because I feel like they were going at Edinburgh's the entire day, to be totally honest with you. First and foremost, just a couple examples. And the second one is the reason why I'm upset. The first one was a throw by Fairmount State to the right corner of the end zone. The kid is clearly out of bounds. They call it a catch. They review it, and it's still a touchdown. What were you looking at? What replay? What were you looking at? Now, before I get to the thing, if you know what I'm talking about and you're watching the show and you're listening and you know what I'm talking about, Edinburgh lost this game 35-30, and I want to be completely clear that there was a lot of stuff that went wrong for Edinburgh. And if you want to say that Edinburgh did not deserve to win this game, that is totally fine and totally fair, because there was a lot of struggles in going on in this game. Now, looking at the statistical side of things, Nino Marzello for Fairmount was 14 for 22, 142 yards and a touchdown. Was not sacked. Nico Marchitelli was 20 for 36, 192 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, and 2 sacks. The first interception, in my opinion, it was either the first or second. I can't remember. I know one interception wasn't really his fault. Corona Robinson had another good game, 16 attempts on 93 yards and a touchdown. Nico Marchitelli also had a great game rushing, at least for him. Had the ball 9 times for 69 yards and a touchdown. And Jeremiah Neely was 5 for 54 and a touchdown. He, spoiler alert, gets the first cold one. The second cold one's probably going to go to the defense because they kind of did wake up in the second half, in my opinion. And then the third one, Leonard Farrow, got the ball 21 times, 198 yards and a touchdown. So that honestly, I might switch 1 and 3 on that one because he had a great game for Fairmount State. Okay. This is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets fun. Last play of the game. Edinburgh has a chance to get the ball back with about I want to say close to 2 minutes left in the game. 35-30. The ball's kicked. Goes towards Jeremiah Neely. He goes for it. And yeah, everybody knows he shouldn't be going for the ball and just let it roll to the back for a touchback. Here's the thing though. Even with him standing there, it still was untouched and went for a touchback. But the refs claimed that he touched it. But this one ref, it goes to the end zone. That's a touchback. But the other team picks it up and he calls it a touchdown. So the ref that was making these calls, by the way, didn't even know the rule book. Because Bryce, if the ball rolls to the end zone in that situation, what is it? What is it?
Is it untouched or is it touched?
Untouched.
Touchback, if he needs it. Or if it rolls out the back, it's just all's dead. It's not a kickoff, right?
I don't think it was a kickoff. I believe it was a punt. Either way.
Same difference.
Same difference, yeah. Same difference. Coach Scott, rightfully so, was furious. Absolute, positively fuming on the sidelines. I will admit, was I on that side of the sideline on Edinburgh's bench to see the play? No. However, what I did do was I went up to a player that was behind, I won't say his name, and I asked him, well, and he said, not even close. That ref, and to be honest, that referee, and here's the thing, refereeing in the PSAC this year has not been good. To be totally blunt and honest, it has not been good. But this core of refs, especially the one that made this call, needs to be held accountable. How do you make that call in that situation with that much time left that I don't want to say it cost Edinburgh. It could have cost Edinburgh the game, but here's the thing, with the way they were playing, I didn't say that, but you cannot deny that it cost them a chance to win the game. So they gave the ball to Fairmount. They need it, ran the timeout, and the game was over. That was it. Now,
on the positive side of things, if I can intervene real quick, something like that happens to a team, that could be a season changer. You know what I mean? That could change the whole dynamic around the team, make them gel together as one. There's a chance that something like that, having a bad loss like that they couldn't control. I didn't watch any of the game. Obviously you did, but just kind of hearing it reminds me of, if everybody gels together, who knows what could happen? You know what I mean? Like you said, that's a winnable game.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Maybe that makes a turn for the better for the team.
Nobody should be blaming Jeremiah Neely for that, because if you want to argue it, whatever, you're entitled to your opinion. But he played his ass off in this game. But he made an incredible one-handed catch in the for one of the touchdowns for Edinburgh. And Edinburgh did put up 30. Yeah, sure. It was against Fairmount State. But 30 is 30, no matter how you slice like or look at it. So it's just, I don't know, man. It frustrating in so many ways that was out of Edinboro's control. And here's the thing, though. This is what I love about Coach Scott, is that, and I'm not gonna like, I know so many people on the team. I do know he is taking accountability for this game. And that's what you got to have in a head coach. It's somebody that takes accountability. And that's why I have so much respect for Coach Scott and still believe he's the guy. Guys, anybody listening to this that talks about Edinboro saying, oh, Edinboro sucks. This is a first-year head coach with a new system, a new transfer quarterback in Nico Marchitelli, bunch of new guys. You got to be patient. You got to be patient. So fast forward to this week, Edinboro is going to be at Gannon. I believe Gannon's last game was against Clarion in a shootout.
Seton Hill.
It was Seton Hill. Oh,
when I knew Alex wasn't going to be on, I did some looking up and checking into Gannon for you.
Well,
so I'm strapped and ready.
Well. Then, and by the way, there is 4 games left. It is Gannon, Seton Hill, Slippery Rock, and Millersville. I will be at Gannon, and to be totally honest, I'm tempted to make the Seton Hill trip. I don't know yet. I'll definitely be at Gannon for sure, though, because obviously I take pictures for Edinboro. So yeah, go ahead and tell me what you know, Bryce.
All right, so I'll kind of do the same. I'll kind of keep the same thing that you do. One way Edinboro wins and one way Edinboro loses at the end. Told you. I was ready. So based off my look, this is a Gannon team that's 1-6. They're not very good. It's easy to argue that they're streaky, I guess, because they did beat Slippery Rock by 3 points, which was a fluke game. We're not going to lie and say that Gannon's a better football team than Slippery Rock, because statistically and historically speaking, that is nowhere near the truth. But so looking through it, obviously they get boat raced by East Stroudsburg, boat raced by Kutztown, shootout with Clarion, lose to Seton Hill by 2 scores. Beginning of the season, I'm not really looking into because, beginning of the season doesn't really matter. It's most recent. So my opinion on how Edinboro is going to win this game is, I'll give you 2. I'm that prepared. I'm going to give you 2. This Gannon offensive line gives up a bunch of sacks. In their last 3 games, they've given up 15 sacks, I believe, on the quarterback, which is on average 5 a game.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that they have to do is Gannon gives up a lot of rushing yards. In the past 3 games, the average team total rushing yards is 200 plus yards a game. So they're going to have to run the ball efficiently and control the clock. I don't think they should be worried about getting into a shootout with Gannon, but they're going to have to control the clock and run the rock. And then
I would say never, because Edinboro does get into these games where they should be up by a lot in reality. That's kind of how it went with Gannon last year. But I'm thinking of Bloom, I think. Yeah, I think I'm thinking of Bloom. I don't know. One of those games. But still, though, I would not take Gannon lightly, though, either.
Is this considered a rivalry, Gannon and Edinboro, because of proximity?
Yes. I mean, Gannon is one of I'd say, the 2 schools that us Fighting Scots do not totally appreciate in sports. Is, I would definitely say, Gannon and Slip, to be totally honest with you.
Well, I am not an Edinboro alum, so I apologize to all the Edinboro alums that are watching, and I had to ask that question. You can bash me for that later. But that's what I think it comes down to. Like, Edinboro is going to have to do their forte, do their thing, do what they want to do. But if I don't want to say get that lead and sit on it, make sure you have a run-heavy offense and you're getting after the quarterback, because they give up a lot of sacks. One way they lose the game is exactly like I said, let their quarterback sit in the pocket, don't get any pressure. He looks like a pretty, in terms of, stat wise, he looks like he's pretty good in terms of completion percentage. The other thing that I do want to say real quick is when I looked at the box score against Seton Hill, the quarterback that had started every other game didn't start, so he might have been hurt last week. So that's the thing to keep your eye on.
Mhm. I do think also because it does show, at least from a few weeks, I believe it was the IUP game, and then fast forward to the homecoming game against Cal. If you protect Nico Marchitelli, then I believe the game will go really well, and if the defense cannot have a slow start. But yeah, so next, the segment that Bryce has been wanting to do for like 3 weeks now. Heisman hopefuls, yada yada yada. I'm totally not wasting time until I see 16 minutes.
You're good. We can start early because I have a lot to say.
Yeah, so I got at least 2. And the first one is kind of an obvious one and be like, oh yeah, that's the easy pick for some people. Second one, I'm debating. I got to think about it.
All right, well, I'll start first, and I'll take one because Alex isn't here, and we were talking about this last week. Since we were gonna, do this last week, but we got, a little back on time. Sawyer Robertson has been the best quarterback in football this year, no matter how you want to put it, except maybe completion percentage, I guess, because, his completion percentage isn't as good as Sayan's. But we're talking about a guy that plays quarterback at Baylor, so not one of the blue chip schools. 2,400 yards, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. 7 interceptions is a little lackluster, but 2 of them, or a bunch of them actually, were weeks 1, 2, and 3. 3 of them were there, and then there was 4 in the middle. So I'd say he's definitely somebody that I would keep my eye on for the Heisman. I mean, Baylor's 4-3, so they're probably not going to give it to a team that isn't competing to win. But if you're serious about giving the Heisman Trophy to the best player in football, Sawyer has to be in the conversation, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I don't have any sort of pull with sports media or betting, but or voting. So that would be my first pick. Do you want to give yours now, or do you want me to do my second one too?
Go ahead, give your second one.
All right. I'm going to need a second for that one. I'm going to pull up my little write-up that I had.
Unless I have my thing ready to go. Actually, mine will be quicker, so I can honestly just give my 2 at the moment. First one, I'm gonna actually just give it to Jeremiah Smith. I mean, that's the easy pick in my opinion, or one of the easy picks. I think where Ohio State's at, what they have left. I mean, I'm not saying Ohio State's gonna win it all again and go back to back, but I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that Jeremiah Smith is not one of the best players in the country. I'd say, honestly, if the Heisman winner is not a quarterback, then I would put money that it's probably Jeremiah Smith. To be fair. So, and my second one is not Ty Simpson. I don't think it's for him because what year is Ty Simpson?
I think he's a junior. I
thought so. I doubt he'll stay another year. However, if he does, I wouldn't be surprised if he wins it next year, but he's probably going to go to the NFL draft. I'm going to give it to Fernando Mendoza.
He's been balling this year.
Yeah. I mean, looking at season stats as of week 8, 1,755 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 2 rushing touchdowns. Week 8 against Michigan State. Yes, I know it's Michigan State, but he was 24 for 38, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a 38-13 win. He's impressive, and and looking, I did look up some, and I know about Mendoza. I know his stuff, but like I wanted to get a little bit of more background. Reading this article, Mendoza has done it on significantly fewer attempts with touchdowns, and he's connecting on 73.5% of his throws. And here's the thing: if you look at Indiana's schedule, I believe in looking ahead, they're only tough. Not even tough anymore, knowing what's happened. One of their games coming up really to keep an eye on is Penn State.
Yeah.
And but by the way, they lost again. It's not even funny anymore. It's just sad. But I'm gonna give it to Mendoza. Seriously, I think he's got a real shot at winning it. But yeah, I would not count out Ty Simpson either. But I'm just gonna give the edge to Mendoza instead.
I like that. I mean, I saw a stat when I was kind of going through things. Every year that ends in 5, a running back has won. It was Derrick Henry in 2015, Reggie Bush in 2005, which they then took away, but NIL's here, give it back. I forget who it was in 1995, but it doesn't matter. So I think, obviously, the simple answer here, I've been high on him all year long. Until he got hurt, that's what kind of hurt him, but he still wouldn't be a bad person to kind of look into, is John Mateer. The only game that Oklahoma has lost this year was a game where John Mateer comes back 12 days post-surgery, mind you, and throws 3 picks against a not a playoff team, Texas, in the Red River shootout, which was a hell of a game, by the way. Other than Oklahoma just didn't score any points. Since then, though, this week, right back into his stride how he was before the season over. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, looked good, controlled the game. He's just good. So that would be another one that I would look out for. One that I'm going to say, and not just because it's my own team in terms of running backs, Ahmed Hardy from Missouri is a good one to look out for. I mean, he's got 11 touchdowns already, almost 1,000 yards.
I thought you said Matt Hardy.
Yeah, he'd be a good one to look out. Jeremiah Love looked unstoppable against USC. Wish Michigan could have done the same thing. And actually, I'm going to go on record here and say this, which probably a little bit of biasness, but whatever. I don't usually talk about my team because I try to stay non-biased with a bunch of stuff. If Justice Haynes doesn't get hurt against USC, I think he has just as good a game against Jeremiah Love. And if he does, Justice Haynes is already over 1,000 yards 7 games into the season with probably 12 touchdowns. So I think when Haynes gets back, he's another one that you could watch out for the Heisman Trophy. I mean, the injury definitely slows his chances just because of, people want to see flashy numbers and touchdowns and blah, 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 blah. But he's one of those are probably the 3 running backs that I would say have a legitimate chance to win the Heisman Trophy this year. I mean, there's a lot of other people we could talk about here, but those are just the simple ones to say.
I can see that. Yeah. So.
Other than that,
yeah.
Let's get into some more college football.
Trying to think what I was gonna say anything for college football. I know obviously probably something about it. Pretty much the only thing with Pitt was that Mason Hines-Shield finally looked like a freshman. I'm not worried. They still got a big win against Syracuse. I believe it was like 30-13. I don't know. I was at Edinburgh. I know they won big. And they got there was injuries that plagued Pitt a little bit. Oh, wait, no. I know what I want to talk about with Pitt. If you are in the crowd of people that blame Pitt for the Steelers' field conditions, you are an idiot. Miami makes it work with the Dolphins. Temple makes it work with the Eagles. And also, Pitt's the only thing is not the only other thing that happens at Acrisure Stadium. Now, here's the thing. I do agree that Pitt needs their own stadium. I have wanted that for years because there's just something different with an on-campus college football stadium. It's just different. Now, geniuses, where are you going to put it? I'll wait. Where are you going to put it? Nowhere. You can't. And it costs
Maybe Bob
too
will
much
sell the
money.
team and you can put it where PNC Park is.
It costs too much money to do that. No matter where you put it, you need to find a place that people were going to go. And people go, oh, Pitt doesn't even fill up the stadium, whatever. That's not the argument that was been happening. People change their argument to that because they have nothing else that's going for them with that argument. The argument this entire time was that it was blaming Pitt for the field conditions. That's not on Pitt. Tell Rooney to hire better grounds crew. And the Rooneys don't own Acrisure Stadium either, so that doesn't work either. So if you are in that argument of saying Pitt needs their own stadium, but the reason you are in that is because of the field conditions and you're blaming Pitt, that is a stupid freaking take, and you're Pitt, and you are just obsessed with Pitt way too much. Now, Tone Diggs can just keep kissing Pat McAfee's ass. Okay, that's all I wanted to say about that. In terms of Pitt and Syracuse, like I said, Mason Heinzschild finally did look like a freshman. By the way, it's tied 1-1 in the first in the ALCS. And yes, the Dodgers are going to the World Series. Whatever.
We don't even have to talk about it.
I don't even want to talk about it either. By the way, I know you'll get to that. I'm not even talking. I'll wait till you get to it. But I'm trying to find Pitt here. I thought I clicked ACC. I can find Pitt. Jeez. Oh, there we are. Yeah, like I said, Pitt. It was a sluggish game. It was like to quote the Loyal Sons podcast, the slot bowl. Mason Heinzschild was 13 for 24, 143 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. The run game, Mason Heinzschild did have a very good rushing touchdown. It was awesome. Rushing yards wise, Pitt only had 117 yards rushing with 5 guys. Kenny Johnson got the ball 4 times, 59 yards. Pitt's defense, Nick Lappy, pretty solid game. 7 total tackles, 7 solos, 1 sack. 30-13. I guess a good win. They have NC State coming up on Saturday, 3:30. Then they are at Stanford, and then they host Notre Dame. Then Pitt. Bryce, listen to this schedule for Pitt to close the year.
It's a gauntlet, isn't it?
After hosting number 12 Notre Dame, going to at number 7 Georgia Tech, and hosting number 9 Miami. Yikes.
I mean, there's no way they make the playoffs, but if they could somehow win those games, they might see themselves as like a top 20 school.
They should. They should be. I don't think it's going to happen. Now, here's the thing. I do think Pitt's going to beat one of those teams. Who? I don't know. It's not going to be Georgia Tech because they never beat Georgia Tech for whatever reason. Even when Georgia Tech was bad, it's not going to be Georgia Tech. Notre Dame, I smell Marcus Freeman is going to incredibly outcoach Pat Narduzzi in that game. And to be honest, if I had to bet, it would probably be Miami. Maybe. I don't know. Especially with how Carson Beck played against Louisville.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of Miami, they lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so go ahead.
I have a lot, but my longest part's going to be about the BYU Cougars.
You can cut baseball if you want. I really don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. I'll say that. I don't care about baseball. Dodgers are going to win the World Series more than likely. It's going to ruin everybody's day to know that the Dodgers are going to win again. Yay, woo. Nobody cares unless you literally live in California. And even then, probably 90% of you don't care. So we'll just move on with that. Let's go Pirates. Sell the team, Bob. We really need to win next year because if not, I don't think I want to watch anymore. Anyway, BYU's top 15 now in terms of the AP pool ranking. They might be 16, actually. I didn't really look. I didn't get to watch a ton of football this weekend because I was in a wedding Saturday. So we just watched a couple games in the noon slot. And then after that, we were pretty busy. But I was able to kind of tune in and out of the suite, kind of looking at what was going on. So I'm going to start with BYU and just go out on a limb here and say that they are the most overrated team in the top 25 outside of LSU because they are undefeated. Yes, congratulations. Great win against Utah, by the way. The only team that you guys have played that has been any sort of good this year. So I have BYU's wins this year and the teams that they've played overall record. So they started with Portland State, who is yet to win a game this year. Then they played Stanford. No, Stanford could be a close one. They win. Stanford's now 3-4. Then we go to East Carolina, 4-3. Then West Virginia, 2-5. Arizona, 4-3. Utah, who they just played, is 5-2, so that's respectable. Their only loss was to Texas Tech. And then they beat Colorado, who is 3-4. If you adjust all the teams they've beaten's wins and losses, the teams that they've beaten this year have a total of 19 wins and 28 losses. You take Portland State completely out of the mix, it's 19-19, or it's 19-21. So any BYU fans out there that are super excited, this is our chance. We're gonna make the playoffs and we're gonna win. You might make the playoffs just because you don't really play another hard team the rest of the year. Let me fact check that before somebody screams at me and says you don't know what you're talking about. Blah 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 blah. We play a bunch of hard teams. No, you haven't played a single hard team thus far. So you play Iowa State this weekend, who is 5-2. Then you get to play Texas Tech, who I believe you will get absolutely boat raced by. And then you play TCU, who isn't an easy win. And then Cincinnati, who I also think you lose to. And then you get UCF, who you'll beat. But I'm just saying, you guys are very overrated. Very overrated. So you'll get what's yours. It's coming. Don't get too excited, BYU. You'll be boat raced, and even if you do make the playoffs, you're going to get boat raced by an SEC school or Big Ten school. So we'll move on with that and leave that where it is because I don't want to talk about BYU anyway. Missouri looked good this weekend, won an OT against Auburn. It was lackluster game. Final score was 23-17. Hardy looked like a Heisman contender in that game, and it was pretty much the reason they won. And I just want to, shout out my Tennessee football fans because I'm back again. Do you guys believe me yet? Just curious. Do you believe me that you're incredibly overrated and aren't going to win anything this year? You lost by 3 scores to Alabama. Alabama was good this year. I was a little lower on them in the beginning of the year because they lost to a crap FSU team, but it just shows that it was, week 1 blunder. So I hope you guys start to dampen your expectations because you guys aren't winning crap this year. So enjoy going 9-3. Maybe you get into the Duke Mayo Bowl. Who knows? We'll see. But you aren't winning anything.
I want Pitt in there. I want the
Pitt and Penn State in the Duke Mayo Bowl.
Oh, that would be the greatest thing ever.
Next up on my little jot down that I have was Notre Dame beating USC by 10. In a game that I thought was a lot closer than the score really showed. USC's run defense was just atrocious, which allowed Notre Dame to just drain clock and continuously force USC's defense to have to step up, and they just didn't. Notre Dame just had a recipe to win that game. And like I said, what a day by Jeremiah Love. He went over 200 yards on the ground on 20 carries. He averaged almost 10 yards a carry, or pretty close to it. So shout out to him. That was a heck of a game. Talked about that. Miami had a fluke game. I still think Miami's contenders because they've been pretty legit this year. And then we go to Texas. Yeah, it's not looking good for Texas. Kentucky is not good in 16-13 in overtime. I mean, everybody has games like that, but when you're the consensus number one team in the country to start the season, you just can't do what Texas is doing. And if you're the consensus number two team and you're already out of the top 25 and most likely not going to make a bowl game now, you probably wake up and say, "We are." So, anyway, I still think Texas isn't that good. I mean, I think they're overrated. I mean, they do have a solid defense. That's about the only thing they have going for them. The only team they've really beat that got them into the top 25 was a 12-day post-surgery John Mateer team.
I was gonna say, that's how they got back? Because I saw they were ranked again, and I was so confused.
They beat Oklahoma 12 days after John Mateer has surgery and goes, "I'm playing." Because that's like the game for an SEC team, for specifically Oklahoma and Texas, the Red River Shootout, which it hasn't been a shootout in a number of years, but that's like their big rivalry. And I can understand not wanting to miss that game. But also, if you're not full strength, don't push yourself, because then look what happens. Then we make Texas look like they're a decent team again when really they're not. Okay, let me rephrase. They're a decent team, but they're not a great team. The other thing that is criminal to me when looking at the AP pool this week, and I know their record's 6-1, so you got to tread a little bit lightly. But Virginia at 16 is criminal to me. Their best win is a 4-3 Florida State, who beat Alabama week 1 and has since then looked like they don't have a pulse. So I would, if I'm a Virginia fan, I'm lowering my expectations on the remainder of the year as well. Once again, another football team that they can be frisky and fun, but I just don't like the recipe they have to be successful. And then real quick, we'll just go over this. Texas A&M escapes 45-42. Didn't get to watch that one at all. Too busy dancing. Texas Tech suffers their first loss to Arizona. Didn't get to watch it. Once again, was dancing, so I didn't really get to see much of it. I still think Texas Tech is a legit team. Their defense is solid. Their offense just kind of slowed down a little bit in that game in terms of stats, because I didn't get to watch it, so I didn't get to see the whole thing. And now I'll put my 3 notes very quickly with 0 explanation. Vandy in the top 10 and LSU overrated. Simple. I mean, LSU lost again. It was crazy. Like we said a couple weeks ago when I said, are they contenders or pretenders? They're 100% pretenders. I said I wasn't going to elaborate, but I have to, because LSU sucks. And you know what, Brian Kelly? Right there, buddy. Oklahoma is still a contender with a healthy John Mateer. Ohio State is legit. I still think they lose on November 29th because Batman Bryce Underwood controls that game and wins it for him at home, because Sharon Moore, for whatever reason, can win at home but can't win on the road. If he played Penn State on the road, Penn State might get their top 5 win that they so desperately need to be considered a good franchise. Other than that, that's it. I don't have much more. I didn't get to watch a ton, so a lot of my notes are a little shallow on what happened. But all in all, college football is still looking good. 4 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago was still the best week for college football. I mean, so much happened that weekend, and it was just awesome. But we have some good weeks coming up now, so I'm excited.
Obviously, everyone's going to be like, well, no, duh. But, like, this is, like, the first time in, like, 10 years where there is 0 talk about Ohio State and Penn State this week. There is 0. To be totally honest with you, I kind of want Penn State to beat Ohio State, because I think it would be the funniest thing ever.
I think Ohio State's on a bye this week, and then they play Penn State next week.
Oh, that's right. There is a bye.
I think I could be wrong,
but that's their next game. That's their next game.
Yeah,
that's
I mean, that's what I said. Like,
there's still no talk.
That's what I said. It could be. I mean, I don't think Penn State even has a formula for how to beat Ohio State. I mean, their backup quarterback looked just abysmal this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and Iowa, who still can't throw the forward pass. I'm 99% sure had more passing yards than Penn State.
And
Remember
and
this,
guess what?
okay?
And guess what? And Penn State still does not have a Power 4 win.
The only team in football, by the way.
So sad. So sad.
But I just would like to throw this out there about Penn State real quick. Michigan didn't have the forward pass last year and went 7-5, which 7-5 is not good. But they ended up having 3 ranked wins in that stretch, all because they knew they weren't going to be able to pass the ball efficiently, but they said, you know what, we're going to use our running backs and get those guys into space, and when we do pass the ball, it's going to be short screens and, jet sweeps, stuff like that, little like flip passes. Why is Penn State just deciding to just not use Katron Allen and Nick Singleton whatsoever? I mean, they run a lot, but get those guys moving. Get creative. Don't just roll over this year. It's not like the NFL where you can just go draft the best quarterback because you lose every game. You're going to start losing recruits before too long. But speaking of losing recruits, there is a ton of coaches openings out there right now.
There is.
I have a list for you.
Go right ahead.
It is a lot. Arkansas is looking for a coach. Colorado State is looking for a coach. Florida fired Napier, which not really surprised in a sense. I am a little surprised that they did fire him because they're not winning games, but if you look at Florida's schedule, holy crap.
Yeah.
Either way, Kent State is looking for a head coach. Go Golden Flashes. Oklahoma State is looking for a coach. Oregon State's looking for a coach. Penitentiary State is looking for a coach. Stanford's looking for a coach. Virginia Tech, UAB, and UCLA. I think, I'm going to say this, UCLA is looking for a coach. I don't think they should make a change with where they're at right now.
I agree.
Tim Skipper and Jerry, I'm going to butcher his name, Neuheisel, whatever it is. I probably butchered it, but either way. I mean, they're 3-0 since they've taken over. And they're putting up points again. I don't know. That's who I would stay out of that. If I'm UCLA, I'm keeping Skipper to see how the rest of the year goes before I make a hire and kind of see how things go. But in my opinion, we'll go in terms. I mean, Penn State and Florida are probably the most coveted jobs on here. I would say maybe Arkansas a little bit, but I don't see a world where James Franklin goes to Arkansas.
Right.
I don't see a world where James Franklin goes to Colorado State. He definitely can't cut it at Florida. Kent State's a step back. Oklahoma State, still don't think he can cut it there. Oregon State, no. Penn State just fired him. Stanford, maybe that would be a good fit.
I don't want to play Franklin every year. Is he going to want to play us at Penn State? No.
Like in all these openings, he's not going SEC. I mean, he did start with Vandy, but I don't think he goes SEC because I truthfully don't think that he can. I truthfully don't see an open position on here for a head coach that James Franklin would be like, I want to go there. The only one that I think would make sense on the open coaches right now is Stanford. That's it.
Real quick about Penn State's looking for coaches. People are just, I'm seeing so many ridiculous names. Guys, I honestly would probably bet money it's probably going to be Matt Rule. It probably will be. It's not going to be Nick Saban. It's not going to be...
Saban already said this weekend on game day that Miss Terry said they're enjoying retirement too much to go back into coaching.
Yeah. Everybody was so over their head they thought it was going to be Kirk Cignetti, and he already signed an extension with Indiana. Also, the one that baffles me the most, and it'll be the last thing I'll say about the coaches hiring because we got to pay the bills. Why in God's name would Marcus Freeman leave that much money and the culture he built at Notre Dame? Why would he leave? Why would he for a step down compared to the culture he's built at Notre Dame? Penn State is going to go for a lot of big names because just they're Penn State. So I'm not saying that like they're some small team. They're not. But I'm just saying why would Marcus Freeman leave? Use your brains for 2 seconds. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, I think the one person to keep their eye on for Penn State, and I don't think it's going to be Matt Rule. I really don't, because why would you get rid of Franklin, who can't win top 10 matchups, to bring in Matt Rule that can't win top 25 matchups?
It just seems like a Penn State hire, to be totally honest.
I just don't see a way that they're going to do that. They want to win the big game. They're going to go after somebody big. My new coach that I'm looking for is I think they might wait till the season to be over, and I think they're going to go heavily after Joe Brady, the Bills' offensive coordinator.
Why? But you're going from the OC in the NFL to Penn State in college. That goes for any other college team.
I just think that you look at the Bills' offense, though, with what they're able to accomplish. I don't know if maybe Brady wants to be like, you know what, I'm going to try the head coaching thing. Go take a stab at a young guy that wants to win. See what they can do. I mean, he can probably put together a decent team, decent rotation of coaches, and especially in the NIL world nowadays, all you need is money.
That's true.
That could be an interesting one that's another one I would probably wait and see.
I do think Joe Brady goes to an NFL team though, in my opinion, but we'll see.
I don't know, man. I think he might explore the college world. It didn't sound like on College Day game day, because Franklin did an interview. It didn't sound like he's going pro. Still, if I'm James Franklin, I'm considering the NFL for a little bit.
The only thing that I saw from what he said on there was he was just whining and crying and complaining, like James Franklin does, opening his mouth. But yeah, so well, we got to pay the bills and then quickly talk about some NFL.
All right. This episode of Tailgate Talks is sponsored by Officiating Recycling and Junk Removal. Officiating is a family-run business out of Greenville, PA that provides services such as vehicle purchasing, scrap metal purchasing, appliance removal, junk removal, garbage services, dumpster rentals, curbside pickups, house garage building cleanouts, and demolition around the Greenville and Pittsburgh area. If you are in need of any of these services, visit the link in the description to check out their website and get in contact with them to see if they provide service in your area. I'm going to add one more thing onto that. If you're in the Erie area as well, they might not full service you, but I do know from talking with Braden that they do have some work up there in Erie sometimes. So if you're listening from that area, they will help you out. Just give them a call to make sure.
There you go. Yeah, so NFL-wise, the Dolphins quarterback job should probably be Quinn Ewers for the rest of the year. And McDaniel should probably get fired right now. Just a terrible organization. And another terrible organization is the Las Vegas Raiders. Kenny did get in, but he fumbled the first down. Because I do believe they benched, Pete Carroll did bench JPJ, their JPJ. And put in a guy that has not worked with Kenny on snaps, but it's at the NFL, it happens. Geno looked terrible. I know it's the Chiefs. The Chiefs defense looked fantastic. Patrick Mahomes looked like he got back into the groove with Rashee Rice being back. If you're the Raiders, I'm not, in my opinion, still hasn't changed. You should probably start Kenny Pickett. What else do you have to lose? It can't get any worse. You're on a bye week now, 2 weeks to get Kenny prepared for the Jags. Geno should be benched because Geno sucks. So, I
think where the current state of the Raiders are now, they're going to have Tom Brady find them a quarterback in the draft class that's coming in. Honestly,
maybe. I've thought of that since Derek Carr. They got rid of Derek Carr, and that has not happened yet. So we'll see. The Steelers, Broderick, don't tackle your 41-year-old quarterback. That probably we really let Joe Flacco go off in the Unk Bowl, and the run defense was absolutely atrocious.
Welcome to a Mike Tomlin masterclass.
That was a Mike Tomlin masterclass.
That's a typical Tomlin game.
That was just a typical Tomlin game. I still the season's obviously not over. It was stupid. It was just that stupid, annoying Steelers loss.
I mean, in terms of the sports books looking at it, It just shaped up too well, honestly. Chase Brown, the most inefficient runner this year, who was being drafted fantasy wise as a round 2 running back. He was being drafted as a top 5 running back. Goes for 100 plus yards on 8 carries, 9 carries. Joe Flacco throws the ball to Jamar Chase, or attempts to throw the ball to Jamar Chase 23 times. Yeah, I mean, that was just a classic Tomlin game. Anybody that's like, oh, I'd love to have Mike Tomlin. At least we'd be, at least we'd be competing every year. You just described Penn State's season for the past 12 years. You're competing, but you're never winning.
Yeah. Also, it's probably around the time where people start to send out their apologies to Daniel Jones.
I don't think Alex is riding with him still.
I don't know, man. He keeps balling. I know the Raiders are the Raiders. And who did Indy play last? Who did Indy play last week? They did play the Chargers. So like, I don't know. Harbaugh's your guy, so you get it more. But like, I don't know, man. It's tough. It is tough.
The Colts defense, here's what helps the Colts and is helping them win games right now. Their defense is playing at a very, very, very high level. Mm-hmm. And when you have a running back in Jonathan Taylor that makes the defense cheat up to slow him down, you can throw the ball over the top. Look at Daniel Jones this year. He's been hitting a lot of his targets, scoring a lot of touchdowns. But the one key thing that a lot of people are going to miss is Jonathan Taylor has 8 total touchdowns this year, might even be 9 total touchdowns this year already. And he's yardage-wise, I believe the top 4 this year so far, maybe top 3. That is a winning formula. Get your quarterback in rhythm. Have your running back carry the brunt. When they cheat up, you go behind them or over top of them. When they start to drop back, you run it right in front of them. I mean, the Colts are just playing smart football right now.
Yeah.
Maybe they are legit. I don't watch NFL enough to know. But I do know from listening to people complain on Twitter and Instagram about football that people are starting to buy into the Colts a little bit.
Man. We'll see. But yeah, I really had no other thoughts on the on NFL stuff, to be totally honest with you. We pretty much could just go straight to rapid fire, and I'm set.
I mean, what else was I going to say about NFL this weekend? I don't have a ton either. I did get to watch more NFL. I was at a birthday party. I'm glad we keep sending the crap games to London because the Rams just owned the Jags. Like you said, Chiefs with Rashee Rice back. Scary. Browns finally get their first win. Or not their first win, their second win. My bad. Their second win. Quinshon Judkins is probably your next Nick Chubb.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a team that's not being talked about that potentially has the MVP at quarterback, the Patriots. I know it was the Titans, but Drake May continues to look outstanding. 21 for 23, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he also added 62 yards on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers beat the Jets. The Panthers are now, in case you were wondering, the Panthers are now 500.
Oh, don't get Swayze freaking excited.
The Jets still haven't won a football game. They're boring. Bears beat the Saints, not a surprise. Eagles didn't look good. Benched. Yeah, that was the worst thing for the Steelers. They could have really used that other draft pick as a round 3, but it doesn't matter. Vikings almost get the Eagles. I was really hoping that they would because I've been very adamant that I can't stand listening to the Eagles. I can't even collect my thoughts right now because I just don't like to watch the Eagles win. Other than that, how about the Broncos, the comeback?
Yeah.
That was insane. and I'm just gonna 33 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, how does Brian Dable have a job this morning? I'm being honest. Like, how do you let up 33 points in the fourth quarter to lose the football game?
It's a great
How?
question. That's a great
How?
question.
I mean, I just don't even know. I mean, part of that you could say is on the kicker for missing the extra point. You could say that because he missed two, but 33 points in 15 minutes of football on a clock. I don't know. I don't know. Other than that, my upset hit this week. Upset of the week. I had the Cowboys over the Commanders, and it did indeed happen.
It did. It did. By the way, the lines are up 14-9 on the Bucks.
I am officially getting hot in rapid fire. I think I am tied for first place.
Yeah, so I got my upset alert already, actually.
I have to look to know what mine's going to be.
Whatever it is, I don't care what it is. Give me the Lurs over the Packers. Sorry, EJ.
You can go ahead and we can start running a rapid fire. That's all I have with NFL.
Tell me whatever your upset is. Oh man, was a long week. By the way, Sammy Suntimer, Leo Dreams, the new 880 tag team champions. Sammy was busted open in that match, and still got it done. Like I said, knew they were gonna get done.
So I'm gonna give you my upset, and it's because I think JJ is gonna be the starting quarterback this Thursday again.
Yeah.
And I think it would just be I mean, obviously this game is prime time because Jim Harbaugh leaves to go to the NFL, takes over the Chargers. His quarterback that he brought in that won them a national championship should be starting for the Vikings on Thursday. That's the only reason this game's in prime time, if I'm being honest, and because the rest of the matchups just absolutely positively blow.
True.
I'm going to take the Vikings
the
over the Chargers on Thursday night.
I'm looking forward to the Giants and Eagles again.
I don't know, man. That's kind of losing how they did last week. I just think that they're going to start to kind of dwindle away now.
Give me Atlanta over Miami because Miami looks broken.
Oh yeah, I'll stick Atlanta too.
Which, by the way, in terms of records, Bryce and AJ are tied for first at 5-2. I am tied with EJ at 4-3. Alex is tied with Haley 3-4, and Thomas 1-6. Bryce did beat me last week, and Emma won by forfeit because EJ forgot to send me his picks. Jets at Bengals. The Jets are just awful. Give me the Bengals. They're definitely gonna be taking a quarterback.
Drew Aller, baby.
Browns at the Patriots. Drake May is gonna keep her going. Giants at Eagles. I do think that the Eagles are gonna get this win back.
I do too.
Buffalo at Carolina. Hey man, let me tell you, if by some chance the Panthers win, they're not. I'm going Buffalo, but I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised.
Me too.
Bears at the Ravens. Give me Chicago. Seriously, give me Chicago.
Lamar Jackson's back. Ravens are gonna start hitting their stride again. They're gonna win the rest of the season and probably not lose another game, I think.
Wow. Niners at Texans. Give me the Texans.
I'm gonna take the 49ers. I think. Let me look. Niners aren't the favorite. I'm still gonna stick with the Niners, I think.
Give me the Bake Show over New Orleans.
Oof.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's the bake
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, I will take the Bucks, but only because the Saints have just been abysmal. But Spencer Rattler's looked okay.
Dallas over Denver. We're getting back to here we go again. This team ain't gonna never win.
I'm gonna take the Cowboys now that they're full strength on offense.
Titans at the Colts. The Colts are gonna keep rolling.
Yeah, the Colts beat the bad teams.
Green Bay or Pittsburgh.
Oh boy. It's at Pittsburgh. I just don't think the Steelers are going to be able to stop Josh Jacobs, especially if they play defense like they did last week. I'm going to go with Green Bay.
Interesting. And then I'm going KC over Washington because I do believe the Chiefs are starting to find their stride that they normally do.
Yeah, I'm going to Chiefs win, Commanders cover the 10.5.
And there we go. Take the Bills and let's get out of here.
I just would like to say that my picks in rapid fire so far this year, I'm 68-37. That's not bad. That is not bad. I'm happy with that. And Haley, I hope you're listening because you're going to be giving me that trophy this year. Final thank you to the first show for all that they do. Link in description below. Anything else, Mike?
I'll have Sammy and Aleo on the show soon. I don't plan on robbing anybody anytime soon again. No. Let's just get past the World Series and get past this abysmal, probably off season for the Pirates.
Yeah, let's just let the Dodgers win in 4 and be done with baseball. But we know we get to look forward to. College basketball's opening night is 2 weeks away from today.
The Hawks did pay Dyson Daniels, by the way. That's another thing.
Bold take, Michigan wins 30 games this year and is the number 1 seed in college basketball. Good night, America.